Hello guys, NautoAce here. And I know lately in the special Pre-E3 2017, I've mostly been talking about Nintendo. And sort of the reason is because 2017 is an interesting year for Nintendo. They released the Switch on March 2017 rather than holiday 2016. Sadly, that would make more sense if it was holiday 2017 because of the 5 year. But yeah, I mean, it looks like the Nintendo gave up with the Wii U. I mean, they couldn't really do anything about it. I mean, I did talk about it before. You can just check out my previous video. So this time, I want to talk about the future of the Switch. I did talk about already what I want to see for the Switch. What can they do with the Switch? Blah 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 Switch. Yeah, I mean, right now it has a good start. So did the Wii U. Like I said, and I mentioned this before in the previous video, September of 2017 will be the point. That will be the point that will give a lot of people why Switch, why not PS4 Pro, why not Project Scorpio, why Switch. Unless if you're a Nintendo fan who grew up with the Nintendo, grew up playing the NES, then you're kind of biased there, but you know what I get. So I was listening to podcasts, one of my favorite podcasts, a big supporter of. No, I'm not doing a response. There is no response. It's basically it's an actually common topic that a lot of people basically talk about. And that is the virtual console on the Switch. It's a big thing. And for people who don't follow Nintendo, to some extent, virtual console is a program started on the Wii, basically enabling people who grew up with Nintendo, relieve all those games legally, officially, not, going to the other source, wink wink, giving Nintendo money to support it, relieve it. That's the whole point of the virtual console. The idea of buying classic downloadable games from past eras on the modern console. They did it with the Wii, and it actually was a hit. People loved it. Not the new gamers, not the newer ones, but the old school one that grew up with Nintendo. It made a lot of hit. Then somewhere down the line, unfortunately, it sort of went down. One is there were some missing points that it wasn't even successful, but at the same time, nuts. Like, you were so close, but it didn't work. And that is one. They cannot ever put anything that's a license-based game. So, I mean, a case in point was TMNT for the NES, the horrible one. I did talk about it before. If you notice the game for the Wii, it was actually $6 rather than $5. And the reason being is that Konami themselves had to renew the license in order to release the game. Because at that point on, I think the TMNT license owned by Ubisoft. So they had to pay for it just to bring it out. They wouldn't even do it if the game was bad, blah, blah, blah. There was some rumor that it was already planned before. They couldn't really back down to it, so they just had to go and further it, suck. And then there was even at one point TMNT 2, the arcade edition, the NES were going to bring it out, and they couldn't do it. So anything license-based, they couldn't really do it. But yes, there is a company that was able to do it. You say, yeah, there is. Super Star Wars and Indiana Jones for the Super Nintendo. Again, that's true. However, it was published by LucasArts Games. Remember, they still exist. People don't know that LucasArts is not just a movie production. They also basically publish and develop games, believe it or not. So they kind of get away with it. The Star Wars games and the Star Wars and Indiana Jones were published by Lucas Games, and they're part of the virtual console, so you kind of get away with it. In the case with TMNT, there's no actual TMNT game production, whatever. It was Konami. Ubisoft, they didn't want to put it out because they don't own the right for that game. It was Konami. I mean, you get the idea, and that's the reason also why the Disney Afternoon Collection won't be like a virtual console on the Switch. I mean, maybe it could. I wouldn't be surprised. As of right now, it's a collection of 6 games for the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Again, whatever the reason is, you just have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, different story there. So that's a little downside of the Switch. Another downside was when they brought it to the Wii U. Again, people were excited. The Wii U owners, finally I get to play classic game again on the HD console, which doesn't really look like HD. It looks like 8-bit, 16-bit classic, if you know what if you're getting my drift. But a lot of downside. One, not a lot of virtual console was on the Wii U because they, at one point, there was a report that they weren't seeing any money. Two, again, this is the same sort of a situation, I could be wrong, but the same situation with making games in HD. Apparently, there was some rumbling that porting virtual console game from the Wii to the Wii U, quote unquote, was tricky. I don't get it, but that's from what I heard. Because the architect, the infrastructure architect, is way different from the Wii to the Wii U. There's a reason why they have an update fee, which is kind of BS. You don't have been free, like, oh, you have it for the Wii, you get it for free for the Wii U. Nope. You have an update fee. I mean, granted, it's just $1 or $2, but it's the principle behind it. And then the lady Iwata basically said, hey, look, the reason is it was a different infrastructure that costs money. Bringing this game costs money, and of course, we're Nintendo. We don't intend to lose. We don't tend to sell anything at a loss. You get the idea. Again, there are some Wii owner did buy. I mean, I'm one of them. Bought some virtual console. It's still kind of sucky to some extent that you're gonna have to update. There's an update fee for it. So, but again, because different structure costs a lot of money. And then another downside with the virtual console is for the 3DS and the new 3DS. Well, with the new 3DS, you can only play Super Nintendo Virtual Console on the new 3DS. They said it was the power process reason. Believe it or not, it's there. But again, same deal. There was no cross buy, which unfortunately was a Sony thing that was out on cross buy. According to Iwata, they said they don't see a potential benefit for cross buy. I mean, because people are willing to pay for this, and again, they don't sell they don't sell stuff in a loss. So there's like double, triple dipping in this thing. So that's a lot of the biggest problem. It was good when it was in the Wii because it was something new, and then, I mean, they were actually on top of it until when the Wii U came. Then they slowed down. Had to do an update fee because it cost money. Couldn't do cross buy. They said that cost money. I mean, a lot of horse poppycock doodle do. And yeah, so there's a lot of the problem with the virtual console part. But the concept behind it is still good. And a lot of people still support it. Heck, I got a lot of virtual console games thanks to Club Nintendo. Gotta miss that. But of course, my Nintendo's the better version to some extent. But they can do better in my opinion. But that's probably going to be in the long run. So with that, that's the history of the virtual console. It's still good. The concept behind it is just the business, the approach to it, the direction. Kind of needs some work. So with that is virtual console for the Switch. Of course, it was beneficial. People, I remember when the Switch first appeared or mentioned, excuse me, on the presentation, they said, what about the virtual console for the Switch? And they said, oh, we have nothing to offer at this time. And then when a week later, the Switch was about to come out, they made an announcement that, yes, virtual console game will not be out on the Switch at launch, which is, again, face palm. But I guess they want you to buy new games. Kind of makes sense, but it's still BS. So as of right now, by the time of this recording, virtual console on the Switch is not there. So things that I'm hoping that they won't do, and I'm praying again to the goddess of Neptunia here, that Nintendo won't be a jerk about it. One, update fee once again. There have been rumors speculating that there might be an update fee once again for this. So I hope that not this time, because they did it with the Wii U, and that's kind of BS. So that's BS. So, I mean, at least if you have it for the Wii U, then you can transfer it for free for the Switch minus the Miiverse. Hopefully. I mean, not from the Wii U or the 3DS. At least for the Wii U. If you have to say, okay, I'm going to give an example myself that when I bought my very first virtual console, I bought from via Club Nintendo, Super Mario Kart. I bought it for the Wii. I did an update for $1 for to go to the Wii U. Hopefully, then that if I bought a Wii, I can download that for free, and I'm not to pay another $1 to make an update. Hopefully, that's one biggest concern I don't want them to do. Two, provide more virtual console this time. Yes, the Wii U one not only was late, it was so staggering that there wasn't even a lot. Again, the real rumor behind it, they said, was that they kind of felt at a point that the virtual console wasn't making them a lot of money. They didn't want to put it on the Wii U. And second was, again, they said the architect, the development, it costs a lot of money to do it. And if not a lot of people are buying virtual console game, you kind of get the idea there. Hopefully it'll make it much easier, and hopefully there'll be a lot more from the Nintendo, from the Super Nintendo, the N64. Hopefully this time, GameCube. They couldn't do it with the Wii U because of the architect, that's what they said. Hopefully for the Switch, GameCube. Imagine Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Switch, and people just go to the Switch on flat screen. Which, if the competitor care about that, but you get the idea. Wii, again, same thing. Just download. Just a digital download version of the Wii games on the virtual console. And then, of course, to some extent, I would say Wii U, but since it's like the previous console, it's probably going to be more of quote-unquote digital version backwards compatibility, kind of like with the PSP and the PS Vita. You can play digital version of the PSP and the Vita, but not physically because there's no way. So, there you go. So, that's one of them. Is hopefully more games to that one. What else I can do? Well, like I said, they better not be double dipping, triple dipping, more variety, more system. There you go. Hopefully, they'll offer more system. Maybe not. It would be nice. Like I said, besides on Nintendo, bring back the Sega Master, the Sega Genesis, heck, the SG-1000. I did a showcase about that. Dreamcast, to some extent. Saturn. I know there have been Sega downloadable game on the other console, on the PS3 and 360. I have some of them. But, we'll see. But maybe at least Nintendo for now. Just Nintendo. Because most people buy Nintendo console for Nintendo. Oh, wait, I should have said that. I should not have not said that. Okay, you get my point. Nintendo first, then the other ones. So, again. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can really think about right now. Just don't double dip or triple dip. Have more games on the get-go. And maybe the third one's iffy. Have more variety than the Nintendo console, but that's not really big because, again, like I said, people are going to go with Nintendo. That's the first thing. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on Switch Virtual Console. What I want to see, what improvement I hope to see in the Switch. Like I said, the biggest one is double, triple dipping. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that Nintendo. That's going to be a big thing. Variety games would be just nice. The other one, not really a big deal. So with that, thanks for listening.